back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Of course, we want to thank Great Lakes Honda City for being with us here on Wake Up Call. We are down in Charlotte, North Carolina at the American Kickoff, and I am back with a familiar face, Jon Sumrall, the head coach of the Tulane Green Wave, and happy to have you here, Coach. How are you?
Glad to be here with you, Dan. Appreciate you being here again this year. It's great to see you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we look at Tulane. One of the names that was mentioned by the commissioner in his address when he spoke about being competitive in this conference, having multi teams, multi-bid, the hope of that, right? So when you look at the college football playoff and you look at the competition within this conference, just what you could say to that effect of saying not only should the American be in the college football playoff conversation, but they should be in the college football playoff. There should be a path there year to year.
Yeah, well, we do have access, which is great now with the 12-team playoff and the 5 highest-ranked conference champions getting an automatic bid. So the access is there, which is nice. It's a refreshing change for maybe the older system, if you will. I think the great thing about our league, and Commissioner Pernetti hit on this, was, we currently, like you look back to last year, and we're in mid-November, and we have 4 teams that are in that conversation. And so that's what you really want to have is the depth of the league, be able to put yourself in a situation where, man, there's a lot of teams that could be vying for that shot. And I think our league's definitely worthy of consideration every year because you look at the history of this conference and the success that teams have had. And I feel like top to bottom our league deserves that opportunity.
And, when you look at, like you said, having that opportunity, we also live in this world of the transfer portal. And I got to see, really over the years how transactional some things can be, and it's kind of a weird world of living in the fact that your quarterback was with you, and I just spoke with him on his new team, and so you see him on Tulane, and then now he's elsewhere. How do you handle things like this with the transfer portal? I don't even want to call it free agency because free agency in the NFL has parameters. There really doesn't seem to be any.
Yeah.
So how do you address that when someone does so well for you like Mensa did, and then to not have him the following season?
Well, you have to understand that guys are going to make decisions they feel like they need to make for themselves or families, whatever it may be. You have to be empathetic as a coach. And, while there is a transactional element that maybe is presented to our world a little bit, it can't change you as a coach. I still love and care for all the players we got. If I've coached you 1 snap or I've coached you 1,000 snaps, You're still a player of mine. And, one of my favorite things is getting I got a phone call from one of my kids at Troy yesterday that I coached is graduating today. And that's why you coach, is because the guy that came from maybe a background where he had a lot of adversity and some things stacked against him. And while the transactional nature of maybe the transfer portal NIL stuff comes up in our world, it can't distract you as a coach for why you do what you do. It's to help transform lives, help change lives, help mentor, develop, and grow young people while competing for championships. And so I don't ever wish any guys ill will. Like I love Darian. Obviously we play him this year, so that makes that unique. But there's no animosity for me per se. I mean, would it be easier for us to have our quarterback situation settled probably if he was still there? Yeah, maybe, because we already maybe know who our guy was. But he's not, and wish him well where he is, just like all our guys that may feel like they have to move on. I do think a lot of times we live in a world where everybody thinks the grass is greener on the other side, and a lot of times you get over there and you realize the grass is fake, and so it's not always better where you're maybe making more money or whatever. Sometimes it's about being the right fit.
And when you look at being a destination, when you look at the Wave, and not to be just a part of the path or a stop on the way, but to be that destination, do you feel like this is where Tulane is, or where you're getting to, that you are a place that's going to command people to come in and stay in?
Yeah, I think we're the perception of our program has changed. We're much more established. I think we have a better foundation, maybe, and a better commitment from the university than ever. It takes alignment from the top down. There's a lot of great coaches. This whole league's full of great coaches. It takes university commitment, alignment from the administration, president, chancellor level, AD, head coach, everyone being on the same page, boosters, supporters, and pulling in the same direction to have success. But I do think we're in really solid footing. I think we're in a space where I think we can maybe have an opportunity to sustain long term. There's going to be good years and maybe years not as good. That happens in life. but I do think we're in a place where we can maybe build something that's lasting.
Why do you believe that is the state of the program, to build something that's lasting and more consistent? Why do you think that's happening right now?
Well, I think resourcing helps. We've got a commitment, whether it be nutrition, facilities, rev share, NIL infrastructure. We're pressing forward. There's always still room to grow and get better. We haven't arrived, but the commitment has been made, and it's continuing to be made. You have to double down every year. If you think what you're doing is good enough, you're going to get past. I had the privilege of hanging out with John Gruden some this summer for a day, and one of the things he said when I was hanging out with him that really resonated with me, he's like, man, you constantly have to reinvent yourself. As soon as you become really comfortable or stagnant is when you get past. And so you're always recalibrating, retooling, and trying to figure out unique ways to maybe gain advantages to help set yourself apart and be different. But we're in that position, I think, because our administration has made a decision to let's properly support football.
You heard Commissioner Tim Pernetti speak on performance-based revenue share. What that means to you that this conference is looking at, like, hey, if you do what you need to do and you handle business and your performance is strong, then you're going to have a bigger piece of the pie.
It's great. You get what you earn, right? Like, everybody wants to know who our starting quarterback's going to be. It's going to be who earns it.
Yeah.
100%. Everybody wants certain things that they want in life. You know how you get those things? You earn them. And so why not? I think kind of in line with his philosophy on the revenue share question, or the conference revenue share side of things, I thought his answer about the college football playoff is spot on. I mean, the guaranteeing of spots doesn't really make our game better. It just creates a cornered market for a couple of leagues. So the best way to have high-level competition is reward those who do well off of the results they have, not reward those that are maybe affiliated with somebody that is already in a higher standing. And so I think in life, in general, it's a pretty good philosophy to have of, hey, you get what you earn.
Amen. I mean, you look at the American, there's always realignment conversations and different things that come up. Why do you feel like Tulane is a good fit for the American? Why does this conference make sense for Tulane?
Well, I think the other universities in the league are similar in regards to maybe infrastructure, types of cities a lot of times. I think this league is a good fit for us with who the peers are. And to me, it's all about being resourced at the level you're at to be competitive. So whatever league you're in, I don't care if you're in the P2, if you will, the SEC and the Big Ten, or all the way to the FCS Division II, Division III level. All you want is you want to be resourced properly to have an opportunity to compete at a high level. And so that's how we're resourced. We're resourced in a manner at our university level that this is the league that we belong in right now, and that I'm very comfortable right where we are. And there's always this talk of conference realignment or what could happen next. That's not really my lane. I'm a football coach. I do have opinions on the matter when they come up in very specific circumstances. But in general, man, I think be where your feet are and be very focused on being the best you can be where you are.
Well, Coach, you never get to ask the questions typically in life as a head coach, but here on Wake Up Call you do, so you can ask me any 2 questions, any topic. You get to pick the question.
Oh, easy. All right, who's your favorite to win the league?
That's not fair.
Well, you said any.
I know. Honestly, and I'm not saying this because you're sitting next to me, I think that you have, there's a few on my mind, and I would not be surprised if you are there at the end of this thing. I think there was some meat left on the bone last year. I think you would agree with me on that. So I think there's something.
Yeah, but hell yeah, there's a lot of meat left on the bone. Yeah. All right, I got my second question to follow up. Other than me, because I know I'm probably first, who's your favorite head coach to visit with at these media days so far?
I would say I've gotten to build a lot of long-standing relationships with a lot of the coaches here, but I would definitely say I've had some fireside chats with Brian Newberry of Navy. Yeah. And we've definitely talked more about life. I think you and I are heading in that direction of building our bond. But I would say, I would say there's coaches that have really just spoken with me about things that go well beyond, and we can shoot a text or make a phone call. They feel safe with me because they are, and there's that relationship, there's that trust, and I get to know them as people, as men, and I mean that's the most rewarding part of my job. Is not really always what I put on the air, but it's being able to say like, hey, I can call John, and you and I can talk, and oh, how was your mom's birthday? And I can say, oh, like, how is this going on with your family and whatnot. I feel that human interaction and that side of really why I do what I do, which is to bring people together.
That's
and
awesome.
To give people, my job is to bring God into somebody's world. It's not to bring myself and talk about myself. It's about to say, how can I shine God's light in another place, in a place where maybe it needs to be.
That's very cool.
So that's where I'm at.
That's awesome. That's cool.
That's my answer.
I love it.
Jon
Big time.
Sumrall.
Great to
Appreciate
see
you
you,
as
brother.
always. And you're going to say it, right? Roll wave?
Roll wave,
There
baby.
it is.
Appreciate you.